This is Carmelo Bongiovi, my co-host Ken Krantz, and we are here continuing our conversation from last week. This is part 2 of Where in the World is Ming Chen? You're listening to A Bit Too Much. It's one of those places though where you go and you're like, oh, all right, I could do without this. You know, I feel like that about most of Florida.
I would agree with you. Yeah, the drivers, especially.
To me, it's like Florida. You go for like a destination.
Yes.
You know, like I took my daughter to Disney, or you're going to a thing, or you're going to visit family. It's like I don't really want to drive around Florida and explore. It's different than the Oregon thing. I mean, also a lot of meth.
Right.
Also meth. But like, there's parts of Florida where I'm like, I don't know. Florida's a weird one to me. It's like just strip malls. You know, everywhere, like everything.
Heat, it's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
It's gross.
No one can drive there. And it's not awesome.
Yeah, what is that, by the way? Why can no one drive in Florida? Like, it's a real thing.
I think
it's because it's everyone. Like, I mean, I always just think it was because everyone was old in Florida. But that's not the case anymore.
That's one of the factors.
That's not the case.
And then I just think all the worst drivers in the country get old and then they move there.
Right.
And they clog up Alligator Alley. Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
Have you ever done stand-up in Florida?
No.
The absolute worst crowds
I'd imagine.
on the planet.
I'd imagine.
Like just completely indifferent. Like you don't even understand, like, why did you buy tickets to this?
Yeah.
It doesn't even seem like any part of you wants to be here and then they're mean. Like, and
Florida's like a mean, shitty place sometimes.
I've got pretty thick skin. And I'm when it comes to hecklers, you know, like what they never bother me, whatever they say. Well, the ones in Florida were starting to get to me. Like some guy, one of my shows I was there, I was like doing a weekend there.
Yeah, where were you? You
remember? St. Pete's Beach.
Okay.
Sounds lovely.
It's beautiful town.
Right.
One of my best friends, Kenny Garcia, bought a comedy club out there. And the club is great and the staff's, you know, it's a beautiful town. The food's amazing, but the Florida crowds, man, they fucking stink. And some dude, I walked him pretty early. And usually when you walk somebody, you're like, well, they went home.
Yeah.
This guy sat out at the bar and drank and waited for me to come out just so he could tell me how much I stunk.
That is a certain level of misery.
Yeah.
You know, this is now what I'm doing tonight. I don't like that comic. Don't want to watch him anymore. I don't want to see any comedy, but I'm going to wait here.
But he was so polite about it.
Oh, weird.
I came out of the show and I see Kenny laughing. And he's like, I think this guy has something he wants to say to you.
It's like, oh, hey, how are you? I was like,
so I come over, I immediately recognize him as the first guy that I walked.
Yeah.
And he was just like, hey, he was like,
the first guy of many.
Yeah. He was like, I just wanted to tell you, brother, you seem like a nice guy, but you stink. You shouldn't be doing stand-up. And I was like...
I'd rather have you threaten me after a show than just earnestly tell me to quit.
Call me brother, you know, like so he can connect with me.
Hey, but yeah. I'm doing this for you. All right. That was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I'd rather have someone threaten me on stage, which, you know, I've had plenty of times.
Yeah.
I'd rather that than in earnest. Florida's weird, man. It is like a whole state of Karens, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It is like I feel like everyone's just complaining about other people all the time.
There was a group,
usually not of their race.
There was a group of there was a group of Karens. I remember for the Thursday night show, group of Karens, and the Thursday night show wasn't like a headline show. Yeah. So it was like Thursday. I got in Thursday, and they have a showcase. So he told me
10
he's
comics or whatever.
Yeah. He was like, if you want to hop on, you can. So I was like, all right.
Oh, okay.
And there's a group of white ladies sitting up front with their arms folded, you know, and they're just
well, they had already been through like a few comics, maybe.
They will they're just not laughing at anybody, and every comic is drawing attention to how they're not laughing, and they're telling them they're shitty. And I get up there, I do my thing, I don't even address them. And after the show, one of the ladies called me over because they were still at the bar. and she said, all the comics kept saying like we were the worst crowd they'd ever seen.
Yeah,
is that true? And I said to her, not the worst, but you were definitely up there. And then she was like, "Oh, boo hoo, you'll get over it." And I just wanted to be like, I just walked away, but I just wanted to be like, "Hey, fuck you, lady. I was never under it. You know, like you called me over.
Right.
I didn't give a shit that you didn't enjoy yourself."
But that right there is like the most Floridian fucking thing I have ever heard. Like you went out of your way to to complain more.
Yeah.
You already ruined the fucking show. You went out of your way to complain more. The person then told you what you asked for. And then like, oh, poor you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, fuck
yeah,
you.
like I didn't come to you complaining.
Right.
I would have been fine walking out, having my drink, and not even acknowledging that you were there.
Yeah. Part of what I don't like about Florida is the lack of good food, to be honest. Like, I feel like it's all strip mall-y. But then you have that. You've got like people just giving you attitudes for no reason.
Yeah.
There's like a big other parts of the East Coast move to Florida thing. There's a big like a lot of New Yorkers, Jersey, that go to Florida. My brother's in Florida. My cousin in Florida. We have a lot of family in Florida. They're all like, they go down there and they like have other people in New York that they meet or whatever. And then there's a whole thing where like native Floridians hate them. They're mad they're there.
Right.
And then, which I guess that probably happens in a lot of towns if you get like a big flux of.
Yeah, but Florida especially, they hate it.
Yeah, because New York to Florida is like a thing, People, it used to be that people were retired and went there. Now people are going there a bit younger and starting their families there and stuff like that, or like bringing their families there into those like communities. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like very Stepford Wives looking communities. They all look the same. Like there's all these plots of land. They're constantly developing property. And because a lot of people move there. Yeah. They're constantly developing property in Florida and putting up new condos, townhouses, that kind of thing. And it's just like, I don't know. I just look at that state. This is obviously not Miami. Obviously there's parts of Florida that are different than what I'm describing right now.
But for the most part, yes.
But for the most part.
Exactly
I mean, that's what I think of. What's a favorite in the States? Okay. Favorite state you travel to?
Favorite state?
Yeah.
The whole state? Wow, that's oof.
All right. City.
The one I always point out that everyone is surprised by is Houston, Texas. Everyone dumps on Houston.
Yeah, no, Houston's cool. Yeah, Houston is cool.
Houston's awesome.
That's another place. Not necessarily like Florida. It's very different than Florida, but that's another place where I like going to certain cities in Texas. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm in Texas. It's one of those like when you're in the I wouldn't say Texas is my favorite state, but I love Austin.
Right. Yeah.
Austin's fucking awesome.
Austin's fun.
It's a fun place.
But Houston's one of my favorite cities.
What's your least favorite?
Least favorite city?
Yeah.
Oh man, see that's tough because I'll find gems no matter where I go. But all the places I've gone to, maybe Evansville, Indiana, Evansville. I got invited there for a Comic-Con. We landed. They're driving me to the hotel, and I look down the street. And every sign is Applebee's, Taco Bell, Wendy's. Yeah. It's all chain restaurants.
To me, that's misery.
Down the whole.
When you just are like, oh, this is all I'm going to eat the whole time I'm here.
Like, oh, crap. Is this? Am I trapped in like chain restaurant hell?
Yeah.
And
a lot of the country is like that, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of in the middle of America. I mean, there's honestly a lot of Florida's like that. But like, where you just got like chain restaurants.
Yeah. But it was literally, I walked down, it was the sign. It was a sign like every 10 feet. I was like, oh crap. Yeah. Where am I? And then at insult to injury, I grabbed my friend. We're like, hey, let's go grab dinner. I'll call an Uber. And I pulled up the app and I'm like, I think my app is broken. It's like, no, they don't have Uber here. Wherever you're going, you're walking to. Yeah. Or maybe there's a cab. But
Uber's too exotic sounding for Indiana. Yeah. It sounds too foreign for Indiana to have it.
It's too close to Jew. We don't need none of that.
None of that.
But despite that, wherever you are, there's
ironically, isn't it German? Uber?
Yeah. Oh, Uber? Yes, it is. Yeah. No matter where you are, there's some shitty dive bar in that town where you can make yourself at home. So that's that's last resort. You can find a dive bar somewhere to hang out at.
How about you, Ken? Friends. You have a favorite city you like going to for comedy or just
favorite city? I've been to New Orleans once, but I went for Mardi Gras, and that was a great.
But I hear such mixed things for people who go for Mardi Gras. They're like either like that was so much. I think it probably depends on where you are in your life.
Yeah.
When you go to Mardi Gras, right? It's like because it could be pretty fucking gross too.
For me, it was.
Dirty gross. I mean, like,
but it was like fun. But it was a lot. Like I was, I don't party the way I used to, but back then I was still, I partied way more.
Yeah.
So to me, it was if I go back now, I would not go back for Mardi Gras.
Right. You would just go and I would just go for food. My whole beginning of traveling, I didn't like my parents never took me on a plane. We just did road trips everywhere. And stay at these little shitty motels. Yep. And I'm like, why does this bed vibrate if you put a coin in it? What's that for? It's a fun ride. It's like a roll laying on sex beds. Great. This is where hookers are brought. But, like that was all. So when I first started, I was like a teenager. I was like 17, 18, 19. Those 3 years I went on spring break. That's the beginning of my life, like traveling. That's how I discovered traveling, was just like extreme partying. Like I would go with a group of Guidos that looked just like me, that had spiky hair and gold chains, and we were just all full of cologne and cum, I guess. And which those combined smells are something very specific.
Great, yes.
It's not the point. The point is, that was like the beginning of my travel. Like I obviously travel much differently now. I travel with my family, I travel for work and stuff like that. And I just think about food. But beginning of my travel in my life was just like go to a place. Go to a resort, like an all-inclusive resort, and then just get fucking annihilated. My first vacation I ever went on a plane was Bahamas. I went to spring break in Bahamas.
Okay.
That was very fun. Less dangerous than when, like, the next 2 years I went to Cancun.
Yeah.
Bahamas felt much more, like, contained, like, safe, Because when you're a 18-year-old and you go to, like, Cancun, you're like always just about to get arrested by a federale.
Yeah.
Like if you think about the situations you put yourself in,
right.
You're like drunk. All the things you would do in the States when you're young and drunk like that, like underage drinking, like, you're walking down the street and you piss on the street, or like you get to a fight at a bar. All those things can get you fucked up in Mexico.
Yes.
Right. And like, but just not a care in the world.
Right. Yeah.
We were going, I think we talked about this once before. We were going into like pharmacy in Mexico, and I'd be like, oh,
pretty liberal, the Mexican pharmacies.
Right. I don't know if even liberal is the way I would put it. They were straight up they were just slinging.
They were hands off with the rules and regulations.
Yeah, it's like, wow, look, anabolic steroids, awesome. Like, I'll pick some of those.
Oh yeah, that's the thing too, right? People get steroids.
You get steroids down there, yeah.
I remember coming back from Mexico once. My ex-wife and I had gone on a trip. And we were with another couple, and me and the other husband found a dude on the beach selling weed. And you know how like we always used to make this joke that like the end of a vacation, it turns into like Brewster's Millions. You have to get rid of all the drugs.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's like
you got too much. It was so cheap, I got too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're in the hotel patio, me and this dude just smoking. We're like, we're just gonna smoke until we can't smoke anymore.
Yeah.
And we probably smoked a handful of joints, and just we were stupid high. Didn't take any, obviously didn't attempt to go to the airport with anything, but we must have stunk. So we're walking through the airport, the four of us, and all of a sudden, a police dude with a dog comes walking by, a German Shepherd, and that German Shepherd U-turns and starts beelining towards me.
Shit.
And before I know it, this dog is his paws are on my shoulders. He's standing, he's sniffing everything. And I was so high, and I love animals so much. The only thought going through my head was, don't pet the dog. Don't be like, oh, like I knew that wouldn't be a good look. And
it's something a drunk chick would do though. Hi.
But I remember thinking like, okay, I don't have anything on me. Yeah. So I'll be okay in the long run. But then I was like, oh God, but like, I don't like, am I about to be like in a Mexican airport room with no cameras and some guy with his hand up my ass, you know?
You probably were pretty close to that.
Yeah. And
yeah.
So now this cop's just looking at me and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then he's like sniffing at my bag. But then I guess what must have happened was the cop had the same vision that I did, where he was like, do I want to stick my hand up this guy's ass?
Yeah.
I don't think I do. So he just looked at me.
He's pretty sweaty.
He just looked at me and was like, do you have any drugs in your book bag? And I was like, is that their screening process? Like they just...
Yeah.
So I said no.
Honor system.
He said, so I think he was trying to work with me. He was like, do you have any prescription drugs? I said, yeah.
Now, was he speaking English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, yes. I have Ambien that's prescribed to me. So then he said something like, that must be what it is. Go ahead.
Move along.
Yeah.
Move along.
But I always laugh because I was like, I think he didn't want to stick his hand.
He didn't want to
yeah,
do it.
He was like.
Yeah.
I was going to say the paperwork, but it probably wasn't even
Maybe
paperwork.
if the dog was jumping on one of the girls, they would have ended up in a back room. But he took one look at me and was like, I got to let this dude go.
Yeah. No, dude, you can get fucked up in Mexico. And we would go, went to Cancun 2 years in a row, and we would get, really shit-faced. We're all just like trying to hook up and all that stuff. Yep. We get into fights. I got into a fight in Cancun in a parking lot with this dude who was just like in a convenience store.
Yeah.
It was like a 7-Eleven type of store. I don't even know why. Like the guy started yelling at my friends. It was like two guys. There were like, I think there were a few more. There was like 4 of us and 2 of them or something like that. And they started like yelling at us. And one of my friends was arguing with them. And I'm like, getting my fucking drink at the fucking convenience store. And I come out and the guy all of a sudden just like pushes my friend. My friend fucking clocks him. And then the other guy's fighting with some guys. And then the guy who got punched just walks over to me like with his, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
I remember he had he was an American guy. Big, giant, blonde dude.
Yeah, meathead.
Huge fucking head. And I'll never forget it because I'm standing there with like my fucking Slurpee or whatever the fuck I have. And I'm drunk. And this is like after we partied all night and I'm really drunk. And the guy's lumbering toward me after my friend hit him. And then he's just lumbering toward me. And he's like coming at me. And it's like, oh, God damn it. And I fucking throw the thing down and I punched him and broke my pinky.
Oh, shit.
And I hit him just right in his fucking forehead and fucking knotted up his forehead. And then he turned around back to my friend who hit him originally. And my friend had gotten some fucking lawn chair that I think the owners sit outside with. I just fucking hit him with the chair. Like, oh my God. And then like this guy's just bouncing around. One of my other friends, like he's getting hit, but he's such a big he's bigger than all of us. Yeah. And he's just getting hit. And he's not throwing any punches. He's attempting to, but he's getting hit and just staggering. I think he was really fucked up.
Right.
And he's just ping-ponging off. I was like, oh! It was one of the weirdest. And I think about that moment, and I'm like, oh, how easily we have all just been thrown in the back of a fucking paddy wagon type of thing. And,
very easily.
And really had a bad time.
Right.
Because I knew this guy from my neighborhood where I lived in Queens who, like, that same year went to Cancun and got into a fight at a nightclub. And got brought to a Mexican prison, and they fucked him up so badly. And his family had money, and they set a ransom for like $25,000 or some shit. It was some crazy fucking 5-figure number, and his parents had to fucking pay it. And they were like, "We won't charge him." And it was just extortion.
Yeah.
They just were like...
They bought him out, yeah.
They were like, money wire us this and we'll let him out. Yeah. And they fucking got their son out of prison. And he came back. I remember he was fucked up. He was like, visibly, it wasn't from the fight he got in.
No, it was from the police.
They beat the absolute fuck out of this kid. And I think once they probably saw a gold chain and watch, they were like, oh, this is...
I don't even know if I was him, I would have been like... You can leave me here. Yeah. Like because so your fucking mom can hold that over your head for the rest of your life. You don't want to take out the garbage? I paid $25,000 to get you out of a Mexican jail, you asshole.
Yeah, I'd be like,
ingrate, you fucking ingrate.
Like, what's Spanish for just slit my throat? Just leave me out like one of those fucking pigs in Oregon.
Yeah. Yep.
Because that sounds...
Yeah, just put your armor on me and just stab me in the neck. Like, yeah,
just feel me. I'll just twitch once.
Twitch and that's it. And then you can sell my body parts after that.
That was my travel for like I guess from like 17 to probably until I met my wife. Really, until like my my mid 20s. I met Sarah. I think I was like 25, and that was like the only way I traveled. To me, that's what traveling was. Yeah. It was like go to a place and just get fucked up. That's like the only way I got on planes. It's like I didn't do nice things. I didn't go like, oh, let's go to like, because I was just with a bunch of other dudes. That's all we did was just went on like spring breaks and fucking parties or like road trips to like fucking Atlantic City. We were in Atlantic City so much. So goddamn much. In Atlantic City, really, when you look, I went recently for a more family friendly thing. Yeah. My wife saw a show in Atlantic City. We were there with my kid and stuff. You're just driving through, you're like, I can't used to party here. Because Atlantic City is a little fucked up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's almost Mexico, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really weird because it's Jersey.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
You could be like, Jersey. I mean, Jersey's a big state, obviously, but like, you could be like here, where we are now, which is a nice little town. Yeah. Or you could be at the beach, and then you got Atlantic City, which is like still Boardwalk Empire. Yeah. It's still that fucked up.
Yeah. My comparison, people are like, what's AC like? What's Atlantic City like? Is like, remember Biff's Casino from Back to the Future 2, where you have that big giant casino in the middle and everything around it is all fucked up? Yeah. That's Atlantic City.
When you're from New York or New Jersey and you're with like a bunch of people who never leave New York or New Jersey, they describe it as like a little Vegas. You're like, no, it's not.
No.
It's fucking not.
Yeah.
It just has casinos.
Right.
Yeah.
That's minus attractive people, anyone under 70, fun.
Right. Yeah. Minus all the things weather. You go to Vegas for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vegas is another place that I feel like every time my only thoughts about Vegas, like I've went for work stuff too, but like I would always go on bachelor parties to Vegas. And it's like I only associate Vegas, my experiences in Vegas with just that. Right. I went for my brother's bachelor party. I went for my cousin's bachelor party. Like, that's the only, I only associate like that line in The Hangover where they're like, someone should burn this place to the ground. That's exactly what I feel about Vegas. I only have like, just because it's like you have fun, but then like it's the hangover and the fucking craziness that you go like, this place is like kind of evil.
After 72 hours, like you should never go to Vegas for more than a weekend. Like,
dude, my brother I don't even know if it was his bachelor party or if he was coordinating it for someone else's bachelor party. I can't remember which one it was like, hey, if we go, he's like, we're going to go Friday through Sunday. And I was like, great. And then he calls me back and he's like, a day later, he's like, we're actually going to go Thursday through Sunday because the flights are cheaper.
Nope.
And I was
too much.
And I was like, okay, that's one extra day. We get in Thursday night. It's the same thing, right? Then he calls me back, hey, we're actually going to go Thursday through Monday because the flights are cheaper on both sides of it. And I was like, wait, what do you do? We ended up going like Wednesday through Monday or something. Oh, God. And I, maybe 3 days in, wanted to die.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was for his. I think for his, we went for a shorter period of time. But like, I mean, it's like a place where, especially when you're there with just dudes, you know what I mean? And like your whole experience, like you get up, maybe you're going to gamble a little bit, eat some breakfast, go to gamble, you go party, and then the partying just escalates. I mean, now that sounds awful. This is a while ago. This is many years ago. I can't fucking hang like that anymore, man.
Oh, you know what happened? So the last time I was in Vegas was for my bachelor party. Mm-hmm. And
which one?
I didn't have a second one.
Okay.
Your second bachelor party, I think, was here.
It was here, yeah. It was here at the podcast.
There was no time for a second.
I know. I had 9 days. There was no...
Hell of a time. But your first one, yeah.
But my first one, we had the suite and the Hard Rock, and we, for safekeeping, put all of the drugs in the safe.
Yeah.
But because we were all on drugs when we put them in the safe, nobody remembered what the combination was. Man. So we finally and you can only get like 3 guesses and then they lock it for an hour. And then you have to wait an hour. So we would just kept trying. And then it was like turned into a game. We all sat down and wrote out like, what do we think? We couldn't even remember who set the combination. Yeah. So we were trying to get into the heads of like, all right, who, like, if it was you, what would you, everything, and then I just kept saying, like, just call the front desk and tell them we need the safe opened, and they were like, but there's so many drugs in there, and I was like, It's Vegas. Nobody's going to care.
And the person they're going to send up is not going to give a shit.
They sent a guy up, and I think we handed him, we were like, here's like $200. Open the safe like this.
Right,
Right.
No questions asked.
He's probably opened that thing up and like little people have jumped out.
Right.
You know, like he's not going to care that there is an ounce of weed and mushrooms, you know, whatever else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's an unspoken rule in Vegas. People go to Vegas for debauchery. It's not like that guy's going to be like, hey, guys, you probably shouldn't be doing this.
Did you know there's a pretty darn good library down the street? And maybe you guys should check that out.
Yeah, that's like people who go to Vegas, you know, that just reminded me of like sometimes you meet a person who like they love Vegas so much because they just love to gamble.
Right.
And they like start justifying all the diversity of things there is to do in Vegas. Do you ever meet a person like that? They're like, oh yeah, no, I go with my wife. I go by myself. I go with my friends and then I go with my wife and we go to shows and stuff. I'm like, you could go to shows in New York.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to Vegas. Like you just want to be in Vegas.
Yeah.
There's people who love Vegas. Like really,
I've
truly
never
love
met-
Vegas.
I've
No,
never met
it's awful.
anybody, yeah.
It's a terrible
I
place.
mean, it's the same type of people go to Disneyland like 8 times a year.
Yeah.
Like, do you need to go that many times? Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I talked about this early on in the show. I have a thing with like adults who go to Disney. I don't. It's really upsetting to me.
I have friends who go once a year or every other year without their kids.
I don't get it.
And I
hope these are the friends you don't talk to anymore.
that's most of them. So.
No, like I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I've only been to Disney once. I didn't go as a kid, so I guess I didn't romanticize it the way some people when they go as kids, they like grow this affinity to Disney. You know, it's like a magical place in their childhood. And I could understand that because I took my daughter there right before she turned 3 because she was free. It was right before up until 3. I don't know how they check. Do they hold them up or something? Like how do they check if your kid's actual 3?
Like cut her open and count the rings.
Oh, seriously, they know.
Yeah, it's like how do you know? But
They
no,
know.
anyway, we took her there, and still, it's been almost a year, and she talks about it constantly. I mean, it's the best thing she's ever done, right? So I understand that, right? She will grow up with this love of Disney, and I'm sure we'll go again with her. Now, we took her, and we were like enjoying watching her enjoy it. You know, like we watch, it's through their eyes. You know,
that's
amazing.
Cool. Yes,
to see a kid just that happy, to see a human that happy. But then I go and I see the adults that are also that happy there, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Because they don't just go to Epcot Center and the big people thing. Like they go to the little kid fucking things. And I know this because you wait on a line for 3 fucking hours to get on a kid ride, and half of the line is just adults.
Yeah,
Yes.
What the fuck is that?
We were there in April. My wife and I took my daughter. It was her first time. And I was excited. Like my daughter was so excited. And what was cool about this trip is my daughter looks like she would be the poster child for Disney princesses.
Yeah.
Just the way she looks, the way she's dressed. But she does not give a fuck about Disney princesses.
Oh, really?
She's got like a dark sense of humor. She loves like Coraline, like Tim Burton stuff. Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sure.
So we actually got to go to Disney. We said, look, we're going to be here this many days. These are the parks we can choose from. She wanted no part of the Magic Kingdom, which to me caused me the most stress. Having to be at the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
All I wanted to see
Kingdom's
was some kind of Disney brawl. Like you see.
in the YouTube videos.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the last day we were there, so my daughter loved it. It was great. But I'm also like, I don't ever need to do it again. You know, like let her mom take her to the next time. But the last day we were there, I got to see, this is one of the funniest things I ever saw. This kid had to have been 14, 15, mouthing off to his mom. But like mouthing off to his mom in a way that was
like cursing at her?
like, you stupid fucking loser, mom. Like, what are you, like, she came over to talk, and he's like yelling.
Which, by the way, is at Disney.
At Disney.
Yeah.
On
Do you
the
know how
grounds.
much your goddamn mother paid for those tickets, you ungrateful piece of shit?
She's She's trying to talk to him, like, keep your voice down. He's like, why don't you shut the fuck up? This is why nobody likes you. Like, we could not believe the shit we were hearing.
Holy shit.
And she was like, you saw her. She was just like, okay. No warning or anything. And then he said one last thing, like, fuck you or whatever. And then she was like, pow, like just real quick jab.
Wow, like a Mike Tyson jab.
Real quick jab to the face. Yeah. I saw the kid's head do that.
Yeah.
She wasn't like bleeding, but it got his attention.
Yeah.
And he actually,
Close fist punch?
Yes.
That's awesome.
He ran off. He screamed out, I just got punched in the face at the happiest place on earth. He ran off. Me and my sister-in-law, my brother and his wife were with us. Me and my sister-in-law are just standing there like, so now there's an entire circle of grown-ups who watch this lady physically abuse you, like punch this kid in the face.
And she's the villain.
Yeah, no, not that day. Because
everyone knew.
Everyone kind of made eye contact, and then collectively we're like, "That's what you get."
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. The funny part about him saying that line is great. About him saying, "I just got punched at the happiest place on earth." It's like, yeah, but you were making it the worst fucking place.
Yeah.
Because your mother is hearing you say this to her, disrespecting her, while she paid thousands of dollars for you to be here.
My advice, like,
thousands.
Don't even look at your credit card. Like, don't eat your.
Disney is so fucking expensive. And you're a fucking 14-year-old. You're borderline shouldn't even fucking be there anymore. You're almost too old to be at Disney.
Yeah.
You little fuck. And see, I don't believe in hitting kids, but I do believe in hitting teenagers.
Yep.
Hard. Real fucking hard.
Yeah, after 13, it should be open season.
Yeah.
If you mouth off, yeah.
But at the same time, you're like, well, maybe this is what happens with these two. Maybe these two just do this. He curses her out, she punches him.
Right.
Probably a volatile relationship. That wasn't the first time she punched that kid.
No way, man.
And that wasn't the first time he called her a stupid bitch.
No. No, it's just instinct at that point.
I'd be entertained by that. What I saw at Disney was like, sometimes couples, sometimes. Oh, God, fucking what's worse than a 20-something-year-old couple with fucking ears on waiting on a line to ride the Little Mermaid fucking thing. And they're just like, oh, I can't like I despise these people. I know they're having a good time. I know I shouldn't be that fucking grumpy about it. But, I mean, this line, I have a 3-year-old with me. She's got to wait 2 hours because there's 500 of you guys on this goddamn kid ride.
Yeah.
Get off the fucking line. Go to Epcot Center,
Right, go drink around the world or something.
Maybe
what are
you're
you doing
from
here?
Indiana and you don't have exotic foods, and Epcot Center is like traveling the world to you.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the only way you can eat a crepe. Okay?
Yeah,
so go eat your stupid fucking bad version of any ethnicity that they have at Epcot Center.
Go get some Dole Whip and get out of my line. Yes.
Right. Get the fuck out of Get out of Magic Kingdom, you fucking creep. I don't understand that. I don't understand that type of travel.
I don't disagree with you whatsoever.
I'd say, my perfect vacation would be like going to like Europe. But if I had travel in the States, a fucking city I love, not excluding one aspect, is Chicago.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I fucking love Chicago.
That
Again, it's because I'm a fat ass and I love there's great fucking food in
everywhere.
Chicago. Now, what I was going to say is excluding the pizza. Fuck that. Look, you can eat it. I'm not saying it's a horrible experience, but it's like this argument about fucking pizza, like who's got the better pizza. People from Chicago actually, with a straight face, tell you they have better pizza than New York or New Jersey, East Coast. And I'm like, you don't even have pizza. That's not pizza. That deep dish pizza is like some weird ass cheese casserole.
Yeah, it's like a cake with cheese and sauce.
It's fucking disgusting. And also like I'm not even saying it's so disgusting you shouldn't eat it. I'm just saying classify it as a different when you get like You ever go to like a gas station and you see the liquors? It's like whiskey flavored liquor.
Yes.
It's pizza flavored food. It's not, it's not real pizza.
It's the fireball of pizza. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's the fireball of pizza.
You ever notice on Fireball whiskey's misspelled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They spell whiskey
It's not
wrong?
whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's whiskey without an E.
Yes.
No, I never.
It's not real whiskey.
I believe it's spelled WHISKY
Yes.
because they can't call it whiskey.
It's not legally. It's not whiskey.
It's not whiskey.
You'll drink it and you'll get drunk off of it. You'll like it, but is it the best? No.
Chicago pizza should be called PISA. Like it should be a different. It's its own thing.
Pizza.
But let me tell you something, man. I've went to some steakhouses in Chicago.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Where I still think about some of the food.
Yeah.
All
They love their beef out there, man.
They do love their beef, or like an Italian beef sandwich.
No, yeah.
Which is kind of gross. Like you take this whole fucking, but it's great. Like I love it. But like you just take. Have you ever had it? The Italian beef sandwiches in Chicago?
No, I haven't been to Chicago.
Oh man.
So it's like it's like roast beef basically. Yeah. Like they slow roast this. It's like its own category of roast beef, where it's like fresh roasted beef sliced. They put different toppings on it, like the
giardiniera. Yeah, it's like the hot pepper relish.
Yeah, that like pickled vegetable thing.
Yeah, and then they take the whole thing. They
dip the whole thing in the fucking juice.
It's all wet. The bread's all wet.
Yeah, which sounds terrible actually,
looks
but it's
disgusting.
Great. It's
that actually
good,
sounds good.
But then you put it in your mouth like, oh yeah.
It's like French dip, but like like perverted.
Yeah.
It's like they just fucking dip this whole thing and they put it on a platter and they give it to you. That's awesome. Fucking great sandwich.
It really is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place to eat? Like travel wise, what's your favorite place to eat?
Like ever?
I mean like in a not one restaurant. I mean like a good town where like.
I mean, Chicago is a good one.
Chicago's great.
You can go as simple as Portillo's, which is
that's where you get
that's my favorite Chicago
the big
dog,
hot dogs and
the crinkle cut fries and or you can get the Italian beef sandwich there. You get the pizza. They have everything.
Yeah.
That one's a good one. Like the Chinatown in Chicago, like you can fuck up some stuff there, man.
Yeah.
Especially if you know what you're doing. So that's one thing I can thank my parents for is I know how to order shit at a Chinese restaurant, like the good secret menu shit.
You gotta have one of those people if you're traveling like I do for food. You gotta have one of those people who are like, I know how to order at this place.
Yeah, and you learn, and if you don't, you ask somebody. And
I went to a Filipino place in Maryland where they like put banana leaf down on the table.
Yeah.
And they just put all the fucking food on the table.
Yeah, and then you're free for all. It's great.
And they did like we got like the full feast thing. It's like a whole fucking deep fried fish, like a whole fish. Like they were known for their lechon, like their the pork, the slow roasted pork belly with like the crispy skin.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm getting so fucking hungry and excited.
I know.
Talking about this.
I know, right? We're doing this at lunchtime. We fucked up, but yeah.
Yeah, I just think about the sound of that crispy skin. It might be one of the most beautiful sounds in the world. Crispy pork skin being cut into.
Right, and then you crunch in your mouth too. Yeah, it's a great sound, and it tastes pretty damn good too.
Yeah,
I married into a Puerto Rican family.
Oh, dude,
right.
You got pernil.
It's I don't know what anything's called, but
pork.
Everything
the pulled
is
pork,
so fucking delicious.
Dude, I love Puerto Rican food.
Yeah.
Like pernil, which is like this, and I believe that is what because it's called a few different things in a few different Latin cultures. I believe it's pernil.
Yes,
right?
Nope, you're right. Yeah,
it's slow roasted pork with like, and again that crispy skin, like that skin that's so like thick and fat, but then it gets like crispy.
Yeah,
you like slow roast it in the oven with some fucking Oh god.
Here's how little I know about food.
Okay.
They sent me out, like I do the grocery shopping, so they sent me out
to white boy
to get rice and
groceries?
beans. They sent me out for rice and beans, but I actually do a joke about it, but like nobody told me what kind of rice. And like I haven't been keeping up with all the technological advances in rice.
Yeah.
So I see a box of minute rice. They're like rice in a minute.
Oh,
and I was like,
great.
I was like, holy shit. I was like, I've seen these dummies spend so much time making their rice and beans.
Yeah, look, they could have it done in a minute.
Yeah.
Why aren't they using
It's like
this?
7 o'clock, the rice goes in. 7:01, we're eating rice.
Yeah.
Like, how have they been? I came home.
You didn't think that was a bad idea to have rice ready in my 1 minute?
Not only did I not think it was a bad idea, I thought that I was about to teach these people a new way to live. Like, I was like, how have they gotten along this far without
me? It took
me?
an hour to make that rice. What is wrong with you?
Right. I'm like, we can all make plans tonight, you know?
Yeah.
I came home with minute rice.
Dude.
I have never been clowned so hard and so fast. My wife fell on the floor and she was gasping for air laughing. She texted her daughters, please come downstairs and help me laugh at the gringo. You know?
Yeah, dude, that's like the equivalent of if I was in a conversation with somebody and they were like, I love Italian food. I mean, like I go to Olive Garden once a month. I'd be like, go. You got to get out.
Get out.
Get the fuck out of here. I mean, I'm very picky with Italian food. I don't even attempt Italian food outside of New York, unless I'm like in the north end of Boston and like people are like, go to this restaurant. Like people told me, I know there's like good places in like Chicago and Boston. Yeah. I don't even most places I won't even attempt Italian food.
No, that's a smart rule of thumb.
And if it's your own culture, you have a hard time eating, bad versions of that food. It's like when you grew up with I grew up with like my nonna cooking sauce. Like I can't go have bad sauce somewhere.
Yeah. Anything outside the East Coast, you just don't do it.
Right.
It's going to suck.
Yeah. Maybe Chicago, maybe like one place in LA, like a few places, like you have to know where to go. Yeah. They exist, but it's not your...
Jew food is so gross to begin with that I don't think it's that much better in New York than Boise. Yeah. Do you know I've never even attempted. I've never had a bite of gefilte fish in my life.
I probably said it wrong. I've had it. I'll eat fucking anything. Yeah. I'll try anything. I get excited. I didn't like it at all, but I get excited if you were to like introduce me to like, let's say a bunch of foods you're like, this seems gross to me because I grew up eating this. This is a Jewish dish that's gross to me, but I've not had it. I will absolutely try it.
Yeah, I'll take a spoonful. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some good Jewish food.
Yeah, we know like our smoked meat, like pastrami, corned beef. We have that right. Potato latkes are fucking amazing.
It's a few things. It's only a few things that are great.
But you can count on one hand.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The bagels.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We got
bagels. I like
for those.
Smoked,
yes.
See, even once you get in the smoked fish and shit, I'm out.
Only smoked salmon to me. That to me is like, or like something like a trout, trout or. Am I thinking of the right fish? It's also red.
Whitefish.
Trout.
I don't.
The whitefish
I don't fuck
gross.
with any of that.
Yeah. For whitefish is pretty. It's like worse tuna. That like Jewish whitefish salad thing. Like brisket often. And obviously, brisket's not solely a Jewish thing, but
but I don't even like the way Jews do it. Like
it's not the best version of brisket.
It's too sweet.
Yeah. Wait, what else? Oh, and pastrami, dude. Right now,
but pastrami, they knocked it out of the park.
Oh, yeah. They put all their effort. They put all their eggs in that basket.
We're gonna do one thing right.
Yeah, but I mean, pastrami is amazing, and I feel like if you're hearing this from other parts of the country, you might not understand how good pastrami could be. It's like being in other parts of the country and not understanding how good pizza could be.
Yeah. We're not talking about that pastrami on the deli counter. No.
No. Pastrami, like that's the one thing. If you're not in New York or New Jersey, there's nowhere you should. Don't get it at a diner. We were in Poughkeepsie. I was in Poughkeepsie for a show. My wife got pastrami from the diner.
Yeah.
I was furious. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, some people don't know how to order at restaurants. My sister-in-law one time ordered fish and chips from a diner. I'm like, what? Can you not? You're going to die. That's going to kill you.
My wife panic orders. But the thing is, when you panic order, to me, a panic order is, I don't know what to order, so I'm going to get this one thing that I know I like,
Yeah.
Grilled cheese panic order. You can't fuck that up.
Yeah.
But she panic orders shit she's never tried.
My wife does the same thing. And I'm like, you're going to hate this. My wife does the same fucking thing.
She ordered.
What is that?
She ordered frittatas one morning for breakfast. And I was like, I didn't know you liked frittatas.
She's like, I don't know if I do.
She was like, I don't know if I do either. And then neither one of us even knew what a frittata was.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what it is?
Could be good. No, it could be. It's basically eggs cooked with other things in it.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure this joke will get cut. But after she ordered it now, and then she hated it, right? Yeah. And then it's like she panic ordered, and then I'm like, well, just order something else. Yeah. But she feels bad ordering something else, so she'll have a bite of some shit she's never tried.
Yeah,
and then that's it. So then after that, every time she panic orders, my like motto is, A frittata for the retada.
That's good. That's clean to me. That's staying in. That's staying in.
That could be anything. Yeah.
Don't be ricotta. Yeah. A frittata could be good. There's a lot of foods. Look, like I was in Peru.
Okay.
And I didn't really realize this before I got there. I knew about certain things in Peru. Like I knew in Lima you could get like great ceviche, and I knew that like there's a lot of alpacas there, and they will take the the wool or whatever, and then they will also eat the alpaca. Like
Yep.
I knew some of these things. I did not realize a guinea pig is just like chicken there.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
they eat guinea pig everywhere in the whole fucking country. Like I was in two cities. I was in Lima and I was in Cusco. Cusco is like right at the base of, well, not right at the base. It's a little bit of a travel, but it's like the city closest to Machu Picchu, right? So for people who go hiking Machu Picchu, they usually stay in Cusco.
Yes.
So have you been?
No. It's on the list for sure.
He's got an open mic there next Tuesday.
Right. And then I'm going to the
moon tower.
The Cusco Comic Con's coming up. It's a big one.
The Cusco Checo Hut.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you're not even doing comedy clubs. You're doing like some weird underground bar.
Yeah, underground. Yeah.
Yeah, it's strictly indigenous open mics for you.
Yeah, for now.
So I,
For now.
and I went to this really incredible like Michelin star restaurant in Lima, because Lima is this really cool city that's kind of like, I equate it to like Mexico City. It's like kind of dangerous and fast moving. I mean, like you could get an anxiety attack just looking at people drive.
Yeah.
They're just like swerving around each other and everyone looks fine. Like they're just like, oh, this is just how you drive here.
Yeah. But
there's also great food. And it's a little dangerous. There's also great food. I went to this place, it was like a fucking castle. I don't know. It was just like this incredible restaurant. And all the food, is like, all the food is pretty exotic. And I got something that was called the guinea pig party. And I was like, I'm gonna have it. I'm gonna have it. And they fucking come. And they give you this big knife, like this like steak knife that's like in a sheath, and it's like it's really fucking cool presentation. And it's like, look, guinea pig is like pulled. It tastes like pulled pork.
Okay.
It doesn't taste like cute animal. It just tastes like pulled pork when it's prepared that way, right? And it's on the plate. It's presented like meat. It's got potatoes and all this other shit, right? And it's fucking delicious. It was so good.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, I am happy with this order. This was an amazing culinary experience. Then a few days later, I'm in Cusco, and you're driving down this. Now, I'm in Peru like a week before everything shuts down for COVID. I think I had COVID. I probably wiped out a village. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
you'll never know.
I don't know. Yeah, the testing wasn't even available at the time. I'm in Peru. We're kind of like, is this COVID thing real? It's like that moment of like the March Madness was just shutting down while we were in there, while we were in Peru. And so now I'm in Cusco, and we're driving down a block, and I just see this guy with this fucking stick. It's like a giant branch with like 10 roasted guinea pigs just on it, where it's like they're kind of like a human centipede aligned. They're like the stick is just through their ass out their mouth, straight up the stick. You know what I mean? Like they're just on there, and people are stopping like the way you'd get like street meat in New York.
Right.
They're
like,
stopping and like, hey,
let me get one with everything.
Yeah. And he's just, I see him. He's got a paper towel, pulls it off the stick, gives it to you in the paper towel.
You just eat it like a piece of chicken.
Yeah, it's just a whole fucking roasted thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's crazy. That would be crazy to do. I go to I'm at this I go to the home of these indigenous women. Where it was a film project related to that one I did in Portland, and filming with like there's this. It's like 3 generations of women. So grandma, mom, and kid, right? And they're there, and they like pull wool, and they dye it, and they make garments, and they're just like really humble, beautiful people. And it's really kind of a unique experience. Like when you get to talk to people like this, right? Like when you get to talk to, being from America, when you get to talk to like indigenous people who live this like simple life, and they're like just beautiful people, right?
Yeah.
They're just like amazing, humble, and they're like, and the oldest woman is like, I'm cooking for you guys. And we were like, oh no, you don't have to do that. She's like, no, I insist. You're my guest today. And we're like, oh, that's so special. So nice. Now we all have altitude sickness because when you take a plane from that low elevation in Lima to the high elevation in Cusco, and it only takes you like an hour, you get severe altitude sickness. The only way to really avoid it is to drive, because then you acclimate slowly. It's like hours to drive. If you do it quick, you get there and you just start throwing up. You get off the plane, you're like, blah! You just start you just get sick. So now it's hot. It's really fucking hot. And, this film crew, like everyone's carrying shit. And she goes, okay. And everyone drinks coca leaf tea to it kind of mellows out the altitude sickness.
Okay.
But it's like cocaine. It makes you super fucking thirsty. You get dry gums. It's, it's like the leaf of a cocaine plant.
Right.
So it kind of has similar effects. It's like a cup of coffee in terms of giving you a jolt, but you get cocaine side effects. Anyway, so we're drinking that.
Turn you into an unbearable assaole for hours.
Right. You just start talking to people about your future business
and
endeavors.
You won't shut up. Yeah.
You don't understand. Dude, I have a great fucking idea. Right. So now we're there. We're feeling sick. We're drinking hot tea in 95-degree weather because it's the only thing that's it's getting down the nausea. And she comes out with this she's like, okay, dinner served. She comes out with a plate with half a guinea pig, just chopped. I'll show you guys a picture later. I have a picture of this. It's it's just a whole ass fucking roasted guinea pig. Or it's in half down the face.
Yeah.
It's cut in half through the face, right? So you can get the left side or the right side.
Right.
It's on the plate. It's got a fucking potato, some sort of block of cheese, and then there's thick, starchy corn that they have in Peru. And she gives it all to us. And we're like, we can't be rude and not eat this. You have to eat it. In my opinion, it's I'm Italian. You don't go into a person's house when they're serving food and refuse food. And I'm feeling sick before she brings this to me. And I saw it and I've never reacted like this to something in my life where I see something and I automatically vomit starts rising in my throat. I felt so nauseous looking at the thing. Because it's just, his little fucking paw was just like this. He just is a whole fucking paw, a little nail on it. They didn't do a good job of getting this, presentable.
It wasn't cleaned properly.
Oh, yeah, no, dude. It was questionable.
Probably wasn't killed humanely.
Right.
She's just got it like this and then a switchblade.
Yeah, no, it's probably my mom growing up in Sicily would say the way her mom killed chickens was she'd take the chicken, put its head in a drawer, and close the drawer real quick. That's how they would kill chickens.
One way to do it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, it's she probably didn't even have a fucking butcher knife. She probably had 2 knives in the whole house, and that's how they would kill a chicken.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it was something similar to that, like an old Steven Seagal snap the neck movie, And so we're fucking picking at this thing. We just no forks or anything. We're just picking at this guinea pig with our fingers, and I'm just heaving the whole time. I want to say 3 of us threw up that day, just from that experience. We were already feeling sick. But it's one of those things where I'm all about, I want to try every fucking food.
Yeah, oh yeah.
If I went to a place and they're we're eating monkey, I'd be like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. If I went to a place and they said they were eating human, I would fucking do it. Not quite literally, but you know what I mean? I will fucking, if a good chef made it, I will eat any animal.
Yeah.
Maybe besides, and it's only for an emotional connection, besides a dog.
Oh, sure.
Not because I don't think a dog could taste delicious.
Right.
Just because I like dogs.
Yeah.
Right? It's my only, sort of moral high ground that I'll take. I'm not going to eat a dog.
That's
any other animal, if it's prepared right. So I'm that kind of person.
Sure.
And I'm fucking just taking chunks off the bones of this guinea pig and eating it. And I was like,
oh, that sounds.
I only ate a very little of it, but I felt like we had to show her that
right. You made an honest effort. Yeah.
Yeah. Every
just
dish
spread
was
it around it looked like you ate the whole. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the worst. The trip was amazing, but that was one of the worst experiences.
Yes.
Just being forced. I was felt like I was being force fed.
Hell to me.
It was hell. I was literally it didn't even have a it didn't even have a bad taste. I don't think it even had a bad taste. I'm saying I don't think because I feel like I also had a little vomit taste in my mouth.
Sure.
It was as I'm eating, and I just
choking.
I felt like I couldn't stop. I felt like I had to do it.
A guinea pig.
Now I'm starting to feel bad. I told my sister-in-law I didn't want to try her roasted carrots at Christmas because I'm like, I already know I don't like them. But you haven't had them the way I make them.
Right.
Like, well, do you make them some way that they aren't roasted carrots? Because I already know how to. But now you're like, well, I felt bad, so I ate the guinea pig, and now I'm like, I probably could have had a carrot.
You could have had a carrot. I mean, how bad would it have been?
Could have choked down at least one little,
fucking carrot, dude.
Yeah, a couple of little round carrots. Yeah.
Dude, here's how much of a fat ass I am. I can't even tell you a food that I don't like in some preparation of it. There's dishes I don't like. There's people who make bad food. And you give me a food that you think is horrifying. There's probably some version of that dish I think I could get down. Or I'll at least eat it if I think it's made well. You know? Like most people have like 10 things they hate. I don't have like 10 foods I hate.
You're like me. We'll put anything in our mouth.
Fucking
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Put anything in my mouth. Yeah. Let's just clip that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for round 2. I mean, I'll do this anytime.
Yeah, well, we got Ethan
day.
here. We've got the pro making sure.
Well, let's not start sucking each other's dicks yet.
Yeah.
Can we look at the footage? But
don't fucking tell me you put anything in your mouth and then tell me you're not going to suck each other's dick.
Yeah, good point. Good point. But we got to eat something soon.
Yeah, well, I got to eat something now.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a bit too much podcast on all the social platforms. Like, subscribe, and comment with some things some topics you want us to talk about because we're running out.
No, get out of here.
We're 10 in and we're out of shit to say.
Yeah, Ethan.
I sure hope
Ethan
not.
did tell me that people do 10 episodes and then they usually quit.
Now we're gonna autopilot it for the next 10 years like a shitty marriage.
Yeah, we need you. This is like I'm looking at the camera right now like those 90s commercials like in the arms of an angel like we need your help to keep this thing afloat.
Yes.
Donate your comments to us.
For just 30 cents a day.
for just one comment a month.
Yes. You can keep us
a bit too much.
You can keep us knee deep in roasted guinea pig for just 30 cents a month.
All right, guys. Thank you. It's a bit too much.
Thank you.
Thank you.